No matter what you do, Fallout New Vegas always begins on October 19th, 20 minutes to midnight in the year 2281. In your typical 20-hour playthrough, you might finish the game in mid to late November. But what if you woke up after being shot in the head and the doctor told you you've only got 1 day left? Would you make the most of it, or would you ask yourself, can you beat Fallout New Vegas in 24 hours? When I say 24 hours, I'm talking about 24 hours according to Fallout New Vegas' in-game clock. Time works differently in Fallout New Vegas compared to our world. The default timescale used by the game is 30, so every minute of real time is 30 minutes in-game, which theoretically gives me a mere 47 minutes to beat New Vegas. I'll come back to why those 47 minutes are imaginary in a little bit. I used a mod to keep the clock on screen all the time, and the timer begins at 23:41 p.m. The next time you see that time on screen, I'll be dead, or the challenge will be over. My special stats are all based around getting through New Vegas as quickly as possible. There are no restrictions to weapons or skills or movement. For a single day, I can do anything I want. Timer's gone though, it comes and goes as it pleases. Put another way, time stops in dialogue when you're picking skills, when the pit boys open, when you're loading into a new area, during mini games like hacking or picking a lock, and even, believe this, when the game's paused. I'd love to say this is a normal speed run, but it just isn't. Before leaving in the dead of night, daylight savings time struck again, thrusting me towards 8 a.m. at breakneck speed. I anticipated going through this challenge multiple times, and I won't cheat by using console commands to change the time. The new start time is 8 a.m. on the button. Trust me, by the time we're finished, this will be inconsequential. You won't have time to worry about your toothache when you're being tossed into a volcano. Those of you who've been around here for a while have a general sense of what my intentions are regarding completing New Vegas as quickly as possible. Yes Man's ending is the quickest, and the quickest route to his heart is through Cazador Canyon. With time still being my most important commodity, I made sure to waste none of it by killing the Cazadors and their families in the alley. Their experience pumped me up to level 2, and I'd need all that experience if I was going to get speech up to 100 later on. I hung out at Bonnie Springs for a little while longer, after I impressed myself by using a grenade launcher to launch a machine gun towards me. Left a little after 10, zapped the bighorners for more experience, hotkeyed my armor so I'd only have to wear it in combat. You move faster when you're not wearing armor. Discovered Red Rock and immediately tested the fast travel system. Fast traveling takes up valuable time that can't be wasted on frivolous nonsense. It takes an hour of time to go from Red Rock to Good Springs via the mouse button fast travel combo move, but on foot, you can't even reach the dead bighorners before 45 minutes has flown by like it was only 22 seconds. Not that it mattered, the strip was my goal. The fiends, pissed about my harassment of their cows, burned me alive and cut off my leg. By the mid-afternoon, I'd made my way out to the field shack camped out by Nellis. I never had the minutes to spare to stop and buy more medical supplies. I couldn't put any extra points into medicine because there are no spare points. And sleep? Idiot. So, what did I do? I carried George to the boomers as a show of good faith. Peace between nations, some other second thing, all that great shit. Losing my Georgie was worth it, only so I could learn that tossing him was far faster than dragging his body. After surviving their bombardment, I thought maybe just this once I could do something stupid. Why talk to the guy at the gate when you could sneak into their base and assassinate their leader? I assumed, because of advanced age, that she wouldn't fare well against my spiked punches to her fanny. She weathered the blows better than I expected, so I took off my gauntlets and dropped a stim pack to even the odds, but the doesn't play fair. She ran away momentarily, tipping the odds in her favor, as the shock of her maneuver left my guard down enough for me to get both my arms broken in one move, forcing me to flail my wet spaghetti noodle arms against her until she died. With 2 factions down and no discovered locations near the strip, I spent 40 minutes traveling to the underpass in style, and another 90 minutes making my way to the strip itself, where of course I couldn't afford to get in. However, what most of us in Mitten Squad didn't know was that you don't need money to get in if you're willing to kill. The Securitrons at the gate all have keys locked inside their mitten compartments. Speaking of killing, a good bit of it happened at the strip. I began with the Omertas at Gamora, used the spike knuckles on them until Shrek showed up and made me sad when I killed him, played grenade catch with the white gloves in the Ultralux, made sure to kill Chauncey for eating people, could have reached out and poked Mortimer's eye out with my spear, threw it instead, missed, entered the tops, and as the minute hand approached the part of the clock to represent midnight, I approached Benny. Lacking any charismatic charm, I failed to convince Benny to head upstairs for some alone time, tripped off the stairs, impregnated his head with a spike. He lived, believe it or not, just not for very much longer. Then I ran up to his hotel room for unknowable reasons. Swank followed me up there, as did everyone else. Luckily for them, I had love and hate and bad jokes to go around. At level 7, I still hadn't put any points into speech because I'm not relying on speech ever in this challenge. I spoke to Yes Man to get his wheel moving. met him over in the Lucky 38. I played catch with a gun in the basement by myself, thought, barrels hurt, maybe my next New Vegas video could be with only a barrel, and back upstairs, I arrived at the point of no return. 5 hours left. I didn't f up the Great Cons enough, still hadn't met the Brotherhood, and then there's the rest of the game. I failed. I did not beat Fallout New Vegas in one in-game day, but that's okay because I never wanted to. Round 1 is always the practice round, even if everyone, including me, agrees that it isn't. I learned a lot, knew what mistakes to correct, and reloaded the save to begin again. The big picture remains the same, yes man ending as quickly as possible. The special stats and skill setup are identical as well because the challenge starts at 8:01. After all that shit's been set in stone. I didn't consider for a second during the entirety of this challenge that using the Fallout 4 menu mod could have consumed valuable minutes since time usually stops when you're looting in New Vegas. Consider it a compromise for the 20 in-game minute difference between when the clock first showed up and the time I used as my start. Those 20 minutes are the dark horse of round 2. I considered slapping the dislike button on the way out of Doc Mitchell's birth canal after being misled about what I was getting into with this life, set off for Cazador country once again, this time not stopping to pet them with a grenade. Doing so would distract me enough that I make a mistake like falling backwards off a rock and cracking my dome in half. That's what the hat was for. I did f***ed with the jackals again, this was a neat kill, and arrived at the blown apart house a whopping 20 minutes earlier than I did in round 1. To deal with the cons, you've got two choices. Talk to one specific con, or kill their leaders. You know what I did. I know what I did. This bitch came up to me with a sword and a shield. I had a gun. I had to assert my dominance. In the last go-around, I never touched the Brotherhood of Steel. They're not conveniently anywhere near anywhere I wanted to go. So I took a shortcut across the desert through Fiend territory towards Hidden Valley. The path there led me to Camp McCarran, where I borrowed an NPC soldier's uniform on the off chance I'd feel like riding the monorail later, abducted Veronica, came dangerously close to considering using the use any ammo in any gun glitch from my last New Vegas video, decided against it, got into a boxing match with a lobster in Scorpion Gulch, which is a horrendously unpleasant place to be when you're without cloth. Inside the Valley bunkhouse, Veronica predictably made my life harder by refusing to open the door like a good tool. As I've said all along, time is rare. I couldn't stand around waiting for her to walk to the door. I knocked her out with a bullet, tossed her over by the door, and waited for her to wake up like a gentleman. With the Brotherhood of Steel now an afterthought, I used 3 of my remaining hours to travel out to Nellis. Veronica assumed when I knelt down with a gun that I was proposing I kill her. It wasn't her I was proposing to kill. Pearl passed away at 12:41 a.m. A few hours later, in the wee hours of the morning, I hit the strip and took Benny's life as well. Got the platinum chip, assumed I took care of anyone worth caring for in the Gomorrah Casino, raised speech up to 100, ended the reign of Robert House, and wiped out who I could at the Ultralux but injured myself in the process. Running low on time, ammo, medical supplies, and functioning limbs, I ran for the gift shop, was accidentally rude to Sarah, and she didn't have any medicine for me. Out of options, I ran for Yes Man. The entirety of the tops followed me up to Benny's room, paid me back in full for everything I'd done to them, ending round 2. At this point, it should be clear that you cannot beat Fallout New Vegas as Jack Bowser by using conventional means. So, we get unconventional. Round 3, back to 801. To prove how different things will be this time, I began by putting Doc Mitchell's head on the wall. A tumbleweed killed the vibe I had going on the way to the Chet store. I'd gone there for a 357 revolver and a handful of bullets. For technical reasons I won't attempt to explain, you can use some weapons in New Vegas to soar through the sky like some sort of winged creature that doesn't exist. To do this, buy a weapon that reloads 1 bullet at a time like a revolver and at least 2 kinds of bullets. You need at least 3 bullets in total. Every time I had 2 bullets and tried to do this, I got punched by an infinite reload animation that overpowers the pause button. To do this glitch, hotkey the revolver, equip it, and start walking. Double tap the button to swap ammo types and bring up the Pip-Boy as soon as you can. While still holding W to walk forward, unequip the revolver, put the Pip-Boy down, and take to the sky. But be careful, any sloped surface can and likely will send you up beyond the clouds. But the expectations of fall damage can be subverted by quick saving and quick loading just before touching back down on solid ground. This one teensy tiny trick saved more than an hour of in-game time getting to Red Rock, giving me time to kick back for a minute and play exterior decorator while also searching in my peripheral vision for Regis. He was inside the Great Con clubhouse, waiting with his sword and shield for some dipshit with a spear to come and try his luck against him. My victory came at a price. I had Papa Khan's sunglasses, but I was also 1 hour ahead of schedule. Too much of a good thing, as they say. In addition to using the power of flight to fly, you can also use it to reach places you simply couldn't on foot, like the desolate barren wasteland that exists in spaces Todd didn't intend to be seen by your eyes. I played every card I had all at once, 52 pickup style, when I got stuck atop a telephone pole while being pelted with bullets. I had no runway. I could only hope I achieved liftoff midair. Then I spotted the king of ramps, the piece de resistance, not that cement, the seesaw. I think I'd have been happier if I'd slammed nose first into the monkey bars like I did as a children. I told you what Todd did as a preemptive warning about this section. The sands near Black Mountain are a dangerous place for my kind. The walls are camping with active camo, but I'd gotten what I wanted all along. I was safe from Kowalski. I desecrated his rock and flew away before I could hear him start sobbing. That's how I got stuck. I needed a vantage point to watch both him run to me and Veronica wonder where I went. Just in time for a late dinner, I descended down the stairs to the Brotherhood's bunker to knock them off my checklist. Flew away, and couldn't have landed in the Death Claw part of town any worse than I did. It's raining, it's pouring, my poor feet are wet, and not even an hour later I lost an hour of progress because I gorged on disillusionment. It had to be the glitch not working anymore. It couldn't be me f***ing it up because I couldn't rage quit a game and watch a tutorial for something I just spent the last hour perfecting. Back in my calm down pants, I got scammed by this ramp, used an NPC uniform I scavenged to ride the rail into the strip, and stormed the tops at around 9ish. Not right at 9, every second counts, but I still value public perception among make-believe characters above the success of my own idea. I didn't bother meeting Yes Man. Should you eliminate the house before talking to him, you'll only have to go up there the one time. Nothing wacky or unpredictable happened inside the Ultralux. I turned an angel into a Cyclops in Gamora. Apparently they employ ghouls among their ranks. Mr. House thanked me for delivering his gift, invited me down to his basement, and I made the mistake of doing nothing for an hour. The demonstration itself took an hour as well. That's almost 20% of my total time gone if you're bad at math. I killed House at about 1:50, told Yes Man to meet me at the Lucky 38, he popped himself into the mainframe, and I started to wonder if I had time to save the president. It turns out, I didn't. Somewhere in the madness of stealing the sunglasses off Papa Khan's dead head, I failed to speak to Regis. Nothing short of becoming a fighter jet would get me to Red Rock in time. Fast traveling out there ate up 2 hours, so that's another 2 hours, which gets us to 7:15. And I went through Camp McCarran. I can't just fast travel to the Strip's North Gate. For a record-setting 3rd time today, I failed to beat Fallout New Vegas as Jack Bauer. Now, in attempt number 4, with all the knowledge of my forefathers behind me, the real game begins. My final run. All bullshit is allowed. Glitches, exploits, cheese. Only console commands are off limits. I ransacked the doctor's house for an assortment of medical supplies. Bought a .32 pistol from Chet thinking it would be like a .357 revolver. Chet wouldn't make eye contact with me after that embarrassment. I made eye contact with Easy Pete's revolver, took aim, he called out for himself, I snagged his gun and fled the scene. Landed on the other side of the forbidden door. I don't know what mod this is from, but I don't have the mental fortitude to relive Squidward's dream level right now. I pulled out the binoculars to see if my ears were playing tricks on me, rolled into Red Rock Canyon, spoke to Regis, and marked a waypoint for Hidden Valley. Veronica is too far gone for me to reach her. She's a useful tool, but completely unnecessary to get inside. Not going to 188 Trading Post to get her meant I could spend a while stuck in an invisible hole with these rocks. Near Black Mountain, I stopped giving a f*** about Deathclaws. I can't outrun them, but I am faster than them. To enter Hidden Valley without Veronica and without a level 100 lockpick skill, I returned to the reliable method of cheating by quick saving and quick loading in rapid succession to clip through the door. New Vegas doesn't accept that as a possibility. Ramos assumes you got in there the natural way, and you're home free. 2 factions down in less than 6 hours. I bought grenade rifle grenades, a railroad rifle, and a ripper from a robot, put on my only hat, blew past George, said goodbye to Pearl, and graced the strip with my terrifying presence yet again. Offed Benny, walked with my eyes wide and my jaw on the floor at the sight of being on the strip with Benny dead and the sun still out. With House very dead, I ODST'd down from the great ramp in the sky, melted Marjorie, I rippered and teared things apart in Gamora, did the yes man and used the railroad rifle against the chairman. It's awful, it's a Fallout 3 gun, I don't know why I have this. After informing Yes Man that I exist and he could meet me at the Lucky 38, I went on over there and Victor welcomed me to Vegas. Mr. House died hours ago. Victor is supposed to shut down after House dies. That festered in the back of my head while Yes Sir uplinked himself and I rambled about all the people I don't care about. Finally, real, tangible progress has been made. Unfortunately for me, I hadn't discovered the El Dorado subbase yet, nor any location near it. Traveling out there robbed me of 2 hours. The return trip did as well. 3 hours, 20 minutes left. I'm airborne. I overshoot the gate in my enthusiasm. Run for the light, but it's only paper mache. A set piece in a better man's story. What's weird is I didn't need to hurt the robots to get back into the strip, but I couldn't fast travel directly to the gate. That's good game design. I've got a good handful of time left, and the second battle of Hoover Dam begins at 2 p.m., 4 hours past my bedtime. Before jumping to any absurd conclusions, I paused the challenge, waited until after 2 p.m., then started the battle again to see if I'd be placed back in time at 2 p.m., and New Vegas crashed. Then I waited until around 8, did this, and it's 2 p.m. again, meaning, once and for all, you most likely cannot beat Fallout New Vegas in one in-game day. But after running through this enough times to put Fallout New Vegas Speedrunner in my Twitter bio, I had to reach the end of the game with some degree of success. I'd babysat my parents' house in the weeks prior to this challenge. I went through a bunch of my old stuff, my 8-step plan for getting an Xbox 360 for my birthday, complete with 12-step backup plan. I found the year my soul fled my body, but more importantly, my Calc 1 notebook containing formulas for adding time to time. I had 3 hours and 21 minutes left on the clock when I spoke to Mr. Yes. He drags me to the dam at its most busy at 2 p.m., giving me until 5:21 p.m. to confront the legate and save the day. The top side of the dam is a straight curved shot to the first tower. Inside, I didn't bother using the revolver to fly through the corridors, partly because it's a confined space, partly because the NCR had their entire flock waiting for me after I overloaded their generator. A storm rolled in while we were in the tower, setting the stage for me to straddle my handgun and ride it to the Legate's camp to confront Linus. We agreed to postpone the fight for the time being. One guy didn't get the memo. His firing animation upset me almost as much as lining up this jump over the fence but forgetting to jump. After killing the nameless one, I flew over the gate, and walking into it from behind won't trigger the cutscene with General Oliver. With only an hour left, I clipped into the gate by save scumming through the gate. Oliver's guy gave me an ocular pat down. I had Oliver tossed from the dam and did not beat Fallout New Vegas in 24 in-game hours. Unlike Fallout 3 and 4, Fallout New Vegas has a reputation system that keeps track of how the factions like the NCR, Legion, and Great Khans feel about your character. Most people pick a faction to side with and do whatever's necessary to keep them happy. But what if them being happy wasn't enough? What if you wanted every faction to worship you like a god? Can you beat Fallout New Vegas while being idolized by everyone? There are more than a dozen factions in Fallout New Vegas, but only 11 of those matter for this challenge. Only 11 appear within the Reputation tab in your Pip-Boy. Each faction in this list has a range of emotions they can feel towards your character, all dependent on how you've acted towards them as a people, how you've treated the individuals in that community. Have you stolen anything? Have you helped those in need? Have you eaten any dead people in broad daylight? Do good, and you're awarded with fame. Earn enough fame with a faction and they'll like you. Then they'll accept you. Push through the love stage into worshipping territory and you'll become idolized. The amount of fame required to be idolized varies from faction to faction, but becoming a respected member of a community is not enough. On top of needing to amass positive reputation points with each faction, I have to not do anything to piss them off. Each faction will tolerate some amount of reckless behavior before they start letting the insults fly. Any amount of negative reputation points, infamy, is a death sentence. Killing a member of a faction and being caught for it is 30 infamy. Getting caught stealing is 2 infamy. Knowing anyone in the world sees me as anything less than perfect, my heart couldn't take it. You can't undo infamy. Those points don't go away. If you're idolized by Goodsprings and get caught stealing a potato, the townspeople will never look at you the same way. You'll be a good-natured rascal forever. With that in mind, let's meet the factions. The Boomers require 50 positive reputation points, fame, to be idolized by them. The Brotherhood of Steel need 20 points. Caesar's Legion needs 100 points to be idolized. The Followers of the Apocalypse need 50 points. Freeside needs 70 points. Goodsprings needs 15 points. The Great Khans need 30 points. The New California Republic requires 80 points. Novak needs 15 points. The Powder Gangers need 30 points. The Strip needs 40 points. Lastly, the White Gloves, the White Unholy Mittens themselves, need a heart-stopping 10 points to become idolized. As for special stats and, the rest of the game, I went with a maxed out intellect for skill points, 9 in luck for critical shots and good fortune when gambling. Spread out the rest, picked speech, guns, and lockpick as my skills, skilled and wild wasteland as my traits, and introduced the wasteland to its new best friend. Everything is up for grabs in this playthrough, any exploits can be used. The only thing I can't do is use console commands. I began with Chet, as one does in a normal playthrough, and let the bullshit out of the pen by utilizing the first of many tricks I have stuffed up my sleeve. Dynamite is a special explosive. If you drop a stick on the ground, you can blow it up by shooting it, and if that dynamite happens to kill someone, the game has nobody to blame because the dynamite's gone, so your reputation suffers no consequences. A couple downsides: dynamite doesn't play well with quick saves. If I drop a couple sticks on the ground to take out a few guys, quick save and the explosion doesn't kill them, reloading the quick save eats my dynamite. Every time. Another downside to this exploit in general is that the explosion needs to kill everyone it touches. If an NPC takes damage, they'll know you did it and that gives you infamy. Good Springs is the first town to feel my loving wrath. Not a lot to this town. Do the tutorial quest with Sunny Smiles for 4 points. Cheyenne dying to a rogue Colonel Autumn didn't harm me at all. Fix Trudy's radio for 2 more points, and a fork in the road appears. The Powder Gangers and Good Springs are locked in a cold war, and Ringo's gonna be the deciding factor. You can't complete Ghost Town Gunfight and run Good Springs Run in the same playthrough. Ringo lives in one quest and dies in the other. Can't be idolized by Good Springs if Ringo dies. Can't be idolized by the Powder Gangers if he lives. So, that's it. You can't beat Fallout New Vegas while being idolized by everyone. But we can all agree that not every faction is as important as the others. Good Springs, God bless them, they just don't matter. They live isolated lives. Nobody in Good Springs, outside of Victor who splits the second you wake up, matters in any quest outside of the quests I've already mentioned. The Powder Gangers are involved with the NCR. Siding with them gets me more benefits than siding with Good Springs. To be as shallow and pedantic about this as possible, I used the dynamite method to dispose of Ringo and lined up Joe Cobb and his boys for my home run swing. By talking to Cobb and telling him I'd shake down the townsfolk for supplies in the upcoming war for Good Springs, but killing Cobb and his family before beginning the shakedown, the quest has nowhere to go. You can hit the skill check over and over again. Each time it rewards you with 30 XP, 39mm ammo, a suit of leather armor, and Powder Ganger fame, making them the first group I became idolized by. I spammed the enter button for a long time. I didn't have an exact level in mind to stop at. I just went on and on until I felt I had high enough skills to conquer the wasteland. Speech at 100 lets me talk my way out of a dry paper bag, and all my other skills being above 50 ensures there are only a handful of skill checks throughout New Vegas I cannot pass. And with that, at level 32, I left town to begin my quest of making 9 other factions worship me. Pretty much every faction's major quest line will have to be completed at some point in the future. The order isn't too important. I went south, towards Mojave Outpost to aid the NCR. Ranger Ghost and Ranger Jackson have 2 easy quests to complete. Murder a family of insects for Jackson, and check in on Mitten for Ghost, and you've got yourself 6 out of 80 points needed for the NCR. While I was in Mitten, I played with Vulpes. He's one of Caesar's most trusted allies, a future quest giver, and a furry. Surely killing him will not come back to bite me in the ass. It can't. My explosives weren't powerful enough to do anything but kill his backup helmets, and I lacked the dynamite reserves to throw a bunch of attempts at him. I continued on to Novak. They're among the easiest to please of all the factions. A measly 15 points will make one idolized. The large quest with the Uggos in the rocket factory are the big ticket item. Nobody in town cares about Boone's wife. Having Jeannie Mae shot doesn't do anything to your reputation. Solving a mystery for Dusty McBride can award the few other necessary points. He's a cattle rancher farming Brahmin, and sometimes, in the night, at around midnight, he hears one of his Brahmin cry out in pain as one of them are dragged away into the darkness. I sat in the pen to ambush the thief. Another Brahmin died in the skirmish as I surprised the Nightkin. There's 4 points for what I did, a possible 2 more for redoing it and keeping all the cows alive. It. 4's enough. All Manny wants for 12 points is for the ghouls in Repcon to be cleared out. How I do that doesn't matter. I sent them to the great beyond, and it wasn't enough. 12 plus 4 is not 16. Where did I go wrong? It might have been Jason Bright. 1 rocket thruster and 1 set of pipes primed for landing later. I sent Mr. Bright and his boys towards the stars, became idolized by the town of vacancies, and headed to Red Rock Canyon to make love to the Great Khans. They're the first major faction we've encountered, requiring 30 points to fully please, but it's not too bad. Deliver a couple special packages to a guy in the Crimson Caravan and a gangster down in Vault 3, teach Jack all about how to optimize his drugs and refuse payment because knowledge is a disease best spread with love. And with that, they're already quite fond of me. For idolation, I'd have to convince Papa Khan, the King Khan, to take his ball and go home. This is their home, and he needs to leave. Talking Papa into killing his tribe takes some effort, mostly from reaching Melissa and showing her the light. Khans are strong believers in Caesar's Legion, but the Legion doesn't believe in women. Women are in the Khans. You can see the disconnect. Getting Melissa to back me up when I spit in Papa Khan's face will go a long way towards keeping my face attached to my skull. She's out by Sloan, up the road a ways, around the bend, neck deep in hell. Back beyond the death claws is where she got herself trapped. She always said she wanted to be a crane. I just thought she had something different in mind. The death claws died, it's in their name. I let Melissa know what would happen to her if she didn't do exactly as I said, and I let Papa in on the truth. He wouldn't stand for deceit in his house. He turned off Carl right then and there, vowed to take the Khans from the wasteland. I became their idol and went north to the Boomers. The Boomers are a joke. They require 50 fame to be idolized by. Sounds like a lot of work. Let's find out. Pearl is a Boomer. Be nice to her, offer to work for free, and she'll be nice back. It's just that easy. With high skills, a bunch of fame can be gained without leaving the camp or harming a soul. Listen in to the little Boomer in training reciting his propaganda, amuse him with various facts about the history of his people, and you're at 8 points. The nearby medicine hut has 3 soldiers inside. 2 soldiers appear to be wounded, and a 3rd soldier is wounded as well. Perform some Red Rock voodoo magic on a bunch of them for 21 more points. Then, you hand over all your scrap metal to Jack to blast into the land of idols. Some factions, including the Boomers, have someone who will take donations and give items and usually fame in return. It's easy to abuse. I'll make a joke about this later. For now, I'm working with the Brotherhood of Steel. You think you know what's coming with them. You probably have a general idea, seeing as I can't blow up their bunker. Whatever you're conjuring up inside that head of yours is wrong. The only way to become idolized with the Brotherhood of Steel is to complete the last quest in Lonesome Road, including all the side nonsense like rescuing dead bodies and purging viruses from their database. You max out at Liked. I could have jumped straight to Lonesome Road, gotten fame for the Brotherhood, and then came back to interact with the mole people as little as possible. I didn't do that because many quests in New Vegas are intertwined. Scribe Lorenzo sends you out on a mission to search the vaults of the Mojave for parts for their air compressor. This is where my predeterministic abilities come into play. I thought ahead. I did my due diligence and had a general plan. By going to Camp McCarran before entering Vault 22, I can kill 2 birds and seriously injure a 3rd with 1 stone. Dr. Hildren at Camp McCarran wants info on Vault 22's plant infestation. One of the pieces the Brotherhood needs is down there, and vault suits can be found down there. I've told you all about quests and helping people, but what I haven't told you about is how you can use donations and the act of charity to scam people out of their emotions. Sarah runs the Vault 21 gift shop on the Strip. You can donate vault suits to her store, and in return, she'll give you fame for the Strip. Check your notes. The required fame for the Strip is 40. New Vegas has 5 vaults. Gather suits from each for easy fame, plus a few quests here and there, and we're well on our way towards literally having my name up in lights. That'll be a great day for all of us. After successfully saving Vault 22 and reporting back to Hildren, I let the Brotherhood simmer and did a large mission for the NCR. Return to sender. Go to 6 different NCR ranger stations to upgrade their radios. Tell someone, then go back out to 3 more to check on animal attacks they've recently gone through. Why not use the new radios to ask? Why not ask when I was there at each camp initially? Because this is busy work, mostly. Obsidian only had 18 hours to make New Vegas. It's amazing they accomplished what they did. It turns out, those attacks on ranger stations were a load of fiction. Chief Hanlon had been falsifying reports for weeks to get supplies for his camp. Those supplies could have gone to a better place. That won't stand. I ran to tattle on him. In the time it took me to find another ranger, he locked the door and put a tunnel in between his ears. I promised his corpse that I'd look after his gun until the end of time, gained some NCR fame for that suicide, funny how that worked itself out, and set off down the Lonesome Road. So, spoilers kinda, nothing here matters. I'm level 45. I'm gonna skip almost everything from this DLC. See, I'm already at Ulysses Temple and max level. Being the max level with multiple perks maxed out, having NCR fame and Legion fame, let me pick the right set of options to force Ulysses to abandon his plan to nuke both factions. In trying to reach the temple, I started using the ammo exploit to create the win button with red glare and tens of thousands of 9mm rockets. I sacrificed Eddie for fortune and fame, just as I said I would, fled the divide, became idolized by the Brotherhood. My fame with the followers of the apocalypse went up as well. I repaired Helios 1, split the power between the Strip and Camp McCarran, and searched around Camp Light for something to do. In addition to the main objective of being idolized by as many factions as possible when the game ends, I'd also like to be idolized by everyone before I get the platinum chip, just to see if there would be any changes. What happens if you meet Caesar after you're idolized by the Legion? I say that now because Captain Astor at Searchlight wanted me to get revenge on the Legion for what they'd done to Searchlight by wiping out Cottonwood Cove. All of it. He's insane. I'll come back for Camp Searchlight later. For the time being, I handed over all my Rad-X, Radaway, and Fixer to Julie Farkas in the World of Mormons. The Followers are another faction who you don't necessarily have to do any work for. It's 50 points to be their idol, and 39 of those points can be gained by donating drugs to Farkas. She needs 9 doses of each happy substances for 33 points, 6 more points comes from pushing more drugs onto her. She doesn't get to stop now. I, however, did stop when I ran out of drugs to give her. Enraged, I turned to the Legion for support. At Cottonwood Cove, I found the bigwig and turned all my NCR dog tags into Hooked on Phonics for Legion fame. These fake Italians are the sole members of the Centurion Club. They're the only factions who need 100 fame to be idolized. Including murdering Caesar, there are like 5 things to do with the Legion. This is fine. No, it's not. I've danced around this topic for long enough. The pool doesn't look very deep, but I'm gonna dive in headfirst anyway. The Legion take NCR dog tags in exchange for fame. There are other factions like this, like I've already mentioned, and they include the Boomers, who accept scrap metal as you've already seen. The Powder Gangers have that Good Springs exploit for free fame. Freeside can be bought for a couple thousand caps, and donating Vault suits to Sarah gives fame for the strip. The remaining factions have no easy way forward. It's nothing but the straight and narrow from here on out, starting with the Bug sneaking into the tower every Tuesday night, and ending with the monorail exploding because I failed to stop the explosion. No harm done. Nobody's gonna be thinking about the train today. Later that afternoon, after the train died, I started taking out as many NCR soldiers as I could find. Sneak attacks negate any negative faction effects that come from outright murder. My sneak is at 100. I've got a silenced handgun and a stealth boy. See what I'm getting at? Everything I do in this game is trivial now. Out drinking a washed-up caravan worker? Easy. It's the small things that trip me up now, like going to the Gunrunners and accidentally flying into orbit. I gained more NCR fame after stripping the Money Factory for its parts, and more Legion fame by dropping off about 24 more dog tags, taking me to liked by the Legion. I rambled around some more, using my god tier skills to kill just about every NCR trooper I found. I bought the medical supplies from the doctors in my way, stim packs to stuff in my bullet holes, and chems for the Freeside doctor. My rampage against the NCR continued to make big waves in their population pool. After the strip attack and the monorail attack I let happen, and Camp McCarran, I returned to Cass's home turf to kill 1 soldier for every whiskey she drank in her life. Then I took her with me to show the almost legate what I did. I'd become idolized by the Legion, taking my idol count up to the Boomers, Brotherhood of Steel, Caesar's Legion, Freeside, Great Khans, Novak, Powder Gangers. We're getting close now. The strip's close. She's teetering on the edge. She just needs a little push to send those heels to the ceiling. I'm not the man for this. I just took pictures out in the pasture where the last woman to truly get me lost her life. The pictures were for the town agoraphobe, Michael Angelo. He's trying to bring style and grace back to the strip. It's not much in the way of points, but it's honest work and it helps out a loser. Speaking of losers, I searched Sarah's vault for more suits to donate. None were found down there, which was great for me. I did plan B first. I came into the store with 19 vault suits. To ensure I got the most points possible, it can be finicky with these mass donations, I dropped the suits on the floor and handed them to her one at a time. The suits were not enough. But there is another faction I haven't met yet, and oddly enough, they require the fewest points of any factions. They are the White Glove Society. Gloves because of the digits on your hand. 10 points for the white gloves and you are idolized. How this is accomplished is entirely up to the player. You will do the Beyond the Beef quest and you will like it. Outside of opening fire on them or other petty crimes, doing that quest is the only way to change your reputation with the White Glove Society. Kinda shit, kinda not. Beyond the Beef is beyond annoying to complete. It doesn't come with a full serving of humor. You can't see the dislike button anymore. I'm free to use a higher level of humor than you're used to. Completing Beyond the Beef is one thing, but finishing it with the outcome of maximum White Glove fame and strip fame in mind makes it far more convoluted. To write the history book for this story, I sweet-talked Morty to get access to the basement, where I used VATS to scan the sauna for naked NCR troops I could assassinate for their dog tags. Since the beginning, I haven't had the sneak indicator on screen. Not by choice, I just didn't feel like disabling individual mods to see which was causing it because I could and did work around it. That problem, like all festering problems you ignore, extended to pretty much anything involving the E key late in the game. So like you walk up to an NPC and their name to talk to them doesn't show up. Immersive, neat, just not a great feature for this run. Down in the basement, I used my knowledge of the human noodle to talk the chef into taking a mental health break. While he was off weeping, I used my wasteland survival skills to fake a meal that tasted like human flesh, let the head chef take it away, and waited in the shadows for Mortimer to go on an exuberant rant to all of his fellow gloves about a return to form. They're eating Ted Gunderson, son of Heck Gunderson. Who the heck is Heck Gunderson, you're right to be asking? He's the meat supplier of the largest meat supplier in the Mojave. Therein lies the trick. Keeping the white gloves happy, getting Ted out alive, and convincing Heck to continue supplying the meat to the casinos and the strip. As Mortimer brags to everyone about consuming what tastes like Ted Gunderson, I bring out the real Ted, reveal the real truth. The audience gasps as Mortimer flees. I didn't so much as go after him as much as I did follow him towards the entrance where Ted's father is. Now idolized by the white gloves, the only remaining factions are the Strip and NCR, both of whom like me. I had a few vault suits to give to Sarah for some last-minute fame, and out of stubbornness, I turned to Cottonwood Cove to boost my NCR fame. I pulled out Greased Lightning, crouched down, and force-fed a couple knuckle sandwiches to the Legion without anyone hearing it. I relied on quick saves and luck to sneak attack them all. No way to know if they'll detect me until I attack. I managed to wipe them all out without raising the alarm, including the guy I sold my NCR souls to for fame. It did not matter. For the slaughter of Cottonwood Cove, I became idolized by the New California Republic, and with 4 points for the Strip guaranteed by meeting Mr. House and leaving the Lucky 38, I saw no reason to not take the easy way out and confront the big man in the tower. I hadn't the chip yet. All there was to do there was increase my payment. I didn't have the chip, no fame, what a shame. I went back on my primary objective and ran for the tops. Met Yes Man, Swank gave me my guns back, and I approached Benny. His guards knew their place and didn't say a word. Benny, of course, ran his mouth. I went up to his special place and blew him apart with the most powerful gun I had to my name. With the platinum chip in my possession, all my transgressions against the Legion had been forgiven. They love me. There's nothing for them to forgive. I went to the fort and introduced myself to Caesar. His reaction wasn't what I was expecting. Apparently, I'd been a pain in his ass since I regained consciousness. Despite the conflicting information, most of the experts agree that most of the evidence points towards him being wrong. Upgrading the robots in the underground bunker pleased Caesar. The big idiot thought the Rumble was destruction. It was the opposite. Sounds of construction as I upgraded the Securitron army for Mr. House. Caesar gave me his chip back. House showed me his entire hand. I didn't believe him, so I took a look for myself. Blowing him up with dynamite only gives negative karma. There's no reputation loss for his demise. Now that he's out of the way, the NCR started making their moves. They wiped out my negative record just as Caesar did, and I took very careful steps towards the end of the game. I've met all the factions, done quests for them all, and become about as loved as I can. From here on out, it's all about maintaining a balance between all factions. I'm about as coordinated as a drunk swan on a teeter-totter. My balancing act may be unorthodox to some. I didn't want to take the yes man way out. I chose the NCR as my playthings. Things that go boom is my quest. It's a pun. It's the sound their hips make when they fall down the stairs. I've already done their job. Kings are next. My reputation with Freeside supersedes it, but it doesn't afford me any special treatment. Not fair. I paid good money for that reputation. In retaliation, I spiked Pacer's pillow with Psyker for Ambassador Crocker. For the Republic Part 2 took me to Hoover Dam to see Cass's mother. Her job for me was erasing the great cons. Been there, done that. Caesar just now caught wind of what I'd done to his puppets. Turning in that quest knocked my Legion reputation down from idolized to good-natured rascal. Siding with the NCR isn't an option. My choices have narrowed. I'd been friendly with the Fiends in Vault 3 up until now. Theirs is the last vault I haven't pillaged for vault suits. Anders was there too, was being the biggest word in that sentence, thematically. Anders tripped down the stairs and died. I didn't find any more vault suits. No way around it now. I sided with the Yes Man. House is MIA. I familiarized myself with all the players on the side of the field. That quest is complete. Bet you didn't know Caesar has ears everywhere. Working against him gave me a few negative reputation points, lowering my status with them once again to good-natured rascal. In another life, I tried to side with Mr. House. Upon getting my orders to investigate Gamora for any funny business, my reputation with the Legion dropped. Let me run you through the end game real quick. There's meeting the factions, I did that, President Kimball's address, the El Dorado substation, and Hoover Dam. You can't get through the meeting the factions portion of New Vegas without receiving some infamy with some group, probably the Legion. Back in real life, I kept on siding with Yes Man, ate the Legion infamy like a good little boy, and headed into Gamora looking for a laugh. Gachino, after being swayed by my persuasion tactics of breaking into his room, reading his diary, and blackmailing him with it, told me about his boss's plans to fuck up the strip when war breaks out. I blew up their guns and tricked the bosses into opening fire with each other, becoming idolized by the strip in the process. Next, I went back to Hoover Dam and did a quick sweep of the area to prepare for President Kimball's arrival. The son of a senator stubbed his toe. The president's coming to give him a medal. I almost caught the repairman running away from the bird the big cheese rode in on. What I could do that I usually couldn't is de-rig the explosive device to prevent it from exploding, which would happen not too long after the Legion sniper tried to take him out from the tower and the maniac rushed him with a knife. The president was safe and sound. I didn't get any fame, but I didn't lose any either. The finishing touches here, El Dorado substation. What a nightmare. NCR soldiers stationed there, maybe 5 of them, guarding that outpost like God himself commanded them to, but I didn't remember giving them any orders. I sneak attacked one, ran around the back for another, missed, waited until night, and the trouble began. They're inside the station, and going inside antagonizes them. You want to do a hated by everyone run, come here for the NCR. Stand inside and you'll be vilified in under 30 seconds. The trouble was them being inside. They would not come out no matter what I tried. I waited for them there. I used the wait feature to pass the days. I waited at Hidden Bunker, I waited at Good Springs, and there I remembered the stealth boy in the safe Sunny Smile told me about after I was born. I took my clothes off, popped the stealth boy, snuck through the station as quickly as I could, and left before they knew what hit them and what hit my reputation. It wasn't what I expected. Caesar's Legion thinks I'm a wild child, and the NCR idolizes me. Good news, I didn't trespass long enough to change my reputation status with the NCR. Bad news, the Legion. That happened after winning a side bet with Yes Man. We're at the end now. The second battle of Hoover Dam. Let's see where we stand. Boomers, Brotherhood of Steel, Followers of the Apocalypse, Freeside, Great Khans, NCR, Novak, Powder Gangers, The Strip, and the White Glove Society all idolize me. Good Springs sees me for who I really am, and the Legion sees me as a wild child. I'm an extremist. Wild child comes from both 100 fame and 100 infamy. The best of both worlds, really. I didn't check, but I'm almost positive that doing anything other than siding with the Legion will get you 100 infamy with the Legion. After all that work to get here, it's surprisingly easy in the home stretch, although I did have to go back and ditch Cass. She opened fire on the Legion, and I wasn't looking for any more negativity than I already had. They attacked me. That didn't change. This was for me. I ran past the heavy troopers, installed Yes Man, exploded the generators, and made it back up top where the boomers rained down pretend bombs from above. You already know I talked my way out of the Leggett fight. I changed things up by using barter instead of speech. Oliver arrived. I talked him down too, and did not beat Fallout New Vegas while being idolized by everyone. Every door in Fallout New Vegas goes to a specific predefined location. If you open a door in a building in Cottonwood Cove, you don't expect to end up at a casino on the Strip. So what would happen if every door throughout the entire game went somewhere completely unpredictable? Can you beat Fallout New Vegas if every door is randomized? Rooms and world spaces in Fallout New Vegas are officially called cells. The entire Mojave Wasteland as a world space is a cell, but so are all the individual locations within it. Doc Mitchell's house, the Hoover Dam offices, the Leggett's camp, the Boulder Dome, the vaults, Zion Canyon, Mr. House's penthouse, the narrator's room, all of it. You can think of a cell as what exists on the other side of a door with a loading screen. Normally you'd walk up to a door, press a button to open it, and you travel to the location displayed next to your crosshair. From the outside, activating the Prospector Saloon door loads you into the saloon. There's a connection between the door and where you're placed after the brief loading screen. What I've gone and done is found a mod that f***s with that connection. Doors no longer send you to their normal predetermined destination. A couple do. I think I found 3 safety doors, just to keep the universe from becoming completely unplayable. I've dreamed of this challenge for such a long time. What I've failed to mention is the door randomizer will not be the only randomizer at play here. My original idea for this challenge was the cabin in the woods, the scene down in the basement with all the cells and the monsters wreaking havoc, causing cavities, all that shit. As neat and as fascinating as it would be to have all the connections between your senses severed, it's just not enough. I want to smell with my skin and taste with my retinas. To that end, I activated the original, tried and true, classic, barely a year old Fallout New Vegas randomizer mod as well. The World Randomizer deals with the big picture stuff. the frame, the framework, the glass covering up the sky, while the other randomizer messes with just about everything else. Weather effects are randomized. NPCs can spawn with any combination of weapons and armor, and any creature that isn't a person is randomized too. Every single room is an Omicron fever dream of possibilities. I've got one more surprise in store, but I'll save that bombshell for later. The curtains have been drawn back. That's my cue to be born. Doc Mitchell asked me what my name was, and I immediately started up the mind games by naming myself Doc Mitchell. I've always wanted to say someone else's name back at them when introducing myself. I just don't have the moxie to pull it off. Special and skills are randomized right off the bat, no need to mess with them. Wouldn't know what I was doing anyway. Skills are in the same boat. I let Jesus take the stick. Starting off with science feels wrong. Wild Wasteland is a must, and I did a quick smash and grab in the doctor's office before setting off for Destination Imagination. Containers and lootable objects have all their items randomized too. Some do still stick to their theme. Medical crates have usual medical supplies like forceps and a bloody sausage. Ammo boxes will have some of their lead copper doohickeys, you get the idea. The door to Good Springs is one of the few doors left untouched by the World Randomizer. Outside, the Fallout 3 colors have invaded the West. Victor's a Brahmin, my 4th grade teacher is as lovely as ever, and the first mystery door is here. There was a choice at the beginning of the game. Leave door names intact or let them be a mystery. Before we do this, I just need to point out that I'm gonna do my honest to gosh best, but this is gonna be kind of tough to follow. Okay? Okay. The door to Chet's shop spit me out in Mitten, where I ran into Oliver Swanwick, whose head doesn't anymore, and the crucified profligates left to suffer in the sun. The Legion, those heartless heathens, killed a little boy on his birthday, then crucified the ghost. It's smart. You never hear about a ghost being tortured. A house led me to a Brotherhood safe house. Got some good stuff down there. The door to another house opened a portal to Nelson. More sad T-poses in town. This is no place for me. I went back to Nipton and jumped into Old World Blues by way of the Z9 Cordless DNA Preservation Lab. Creatures of all shapes, makes, and models were down there being tested. Back, somewhere, I took a turn and ended up at Camp McCarran. Not anticipating gambling, I baited the fiends into attacking NCR soldiers who didn't get the memo that this was a costume party. It's alright, I thought this was a work function too. By now, it hadn't dawned on me how f***ed up this would become. I assumed taking an NCR jumpsuit would help me. There are like 3 doors in between Camp McCarran and the Strip. Might as well be asking me to play Russian roulette with a shotgun. Better hope it jams. A door led me to the Big Empty, where they had a working monorail, and a tower that leads to the Sierra Madre. I told you this was a work thing. I don't need no extra collar to make my skull into an art piece on the ceiling. It is weird that I blew up in dead money without a collar on. I found a couple beds in Little Yahtzee, sealed off by radiation. I entered a cave, did an accident with a tripwire and a grenade. One blew me up, my body landed on another trap, that one detonated and it killed me. Not a fun place to be. Unlike usual playthroughs, I'm about to get ahead of myself. I played on normal. Please congratulate me in the comments for my bravery. Unlike normal, I was big into this challenge. I used many quick saves, but I didn't make a ton of manual saves. I didn't want to be reloading no saves when the going gets tough. When the going gets tough, the tough get going in the opposite direction. You can always run through the door you came from. On the topic of broad challenge-spanning topics, let's talk strategy. There isn't one in the traditional sense. Doors don't change locations after you go through them. They're randomly generated with a seed that can only be changed from outside the game by editing a text file. So you go through the doors, start learning where they go. Maybe you find a shortcut. Maybe you find a pathway to the lonesome road in a Novak motel. Regardless of what you find, you'll have a completely unique pathway to navigate through New Vegas, held together by the glue of the overworld. I don't want to startle you. I haven't checked the compatibilities. You know the legendary effects from Fallout 4? There's a New Vegas mod for that. Add a permadeath and that mod onto these, and you've got something worth looking into. We were talking strategy and I got lost. Beating the game is the end goal. Given every door is random, the first step is exploring as many doors as possible to figure out which doors lead to locations you'll need to visit. When your objective is to talk to Mr. House in the Lucky 38, how do you plan on doing that when the door to the Lucky 38 doesn't send you into the Lucky 38 casino? You'd better pray to RNGesus for the odds to be in your favor. My story continued until it ground to a halt inside the Bright Brotherhood den. In their presence, I found myself in awe of their digital style and wanted to take it for myself. Despite all the strange characters I've killed so far, all the random items I've found, my supplies are still shockingly limited. Had it not been for the danger grenades I found, I'm not sure the Bright followers would have been wiped out. A side effect of random NPC heights is exponentially increased durability. Ever wonder why super mutants are so tough? It's a size thing. damage resistance seems to scale with height. A couple extra inches gives anyone an advantage. One of the bodies was wearing Dean's holographic outfit from Dead Money. This is objectively the best armor in the game, not in terms of damage resistance or stat boosts. It makes your hands invisible in first person. Any weapon floats in midair. Guns take on a mind of their own, proving it's not a people problem, it's a gun problem. We're gonna have to kill the guns. And who better to aid in our fight than the boys in silly outfits guarding Hoover Dam? It sure does look different in the dead of night. The dam led me to Higgs Village, to a vault and a sentry bot hooked on bathwater. In that vault, I found a hat named Slickback and was back on the right track, headed to the strip, ideally via Freeside. In my haste, I'd forgotten the gate counts as a door, and now the gate to Freeside opens to a waste disposal station currently being used as a house by a pregnant ant queen. The door to North Vegas Square just f***ed the late game by coming out of the old Dorito substation. There is one way into that room, and it's been destroyed. Me getting into that station in the future is now left up to chance. I hate to break it to you, Homeward Bound came out in '93. Things aren't looking good for chance. After a quick trip to the Mesquite Mountain Crater, I opened what I prayed would be the door to the North Vegas Medical Clinic. What I got was my old buddy, the elevator room, from Lonesome Road. I've been stuck here before. Those instances didn't spawn me on the tracks. The elevator's not running, so I have the opportunity to run down the tracks myself until I hit that there invisible wall. I went back up the ramp and used my super jump to hop around the elevator, hoping to land on the platform above. With no way down, that door is my only way out. And where did it spit me? The bunker entrance to Dead Money, leaving me with quite literally no choice but to willingly activate the trap, get gassed, rigged with an explosive collar, and told to get to work. And all my stuff's gone, all but the DLC items and the problem solver. This tool loads you back through the previous door as a failsafe. So stupid, so lame, also completely worthless given my situation. I went back to Dead Money to find a proper way out. Storm lightened up a bit, easier to see around the world. Take in the sights and smells of the Red Waste. I spent longer here than I planned to. Finding a door that wasn't locked took 20 minutes. My jumping around outside the environment is most likely what kept the beeping collar from going off. When I have one, I'm fine. When I don't, I explode. What is this mod? At level 4, I noticed the perks are all random and slightly modulated. F***ed up by the mod, I guess. I didn't take them because I didn't want to compromise the integrity of this run. Also, the way out through that station was locked. Over time, with a solid majority of my limbs intact, I found a way out through the chairman's pool area. I went in the pool fully in cloth with all my clothes on, picked a great day to step in dog shit, and was finally back in the Mojave. I thought for a second after the gunrunners connected me to the guts of Hoover Dam that I could enter the Legates camp early. However, I discovered a direct connection between the dam and Cottonwood Cove. I have great plans for that, but I put them on hold to settle an age-old debate. Who has the nicer bathroom, girls or boys? Up first, the ladies had a warm fire, snacks, nice seating arrangements. The boys' bathroom is Boomer's headquarters. Oddly enough, that might have been Pearl's cabin I came out of. So one door in Cottonwood Cove leads to Hoover Dam, and by sheer fucking happenstance, the door next door goes to the Tops casino floor. NCR soldiers are at the casino, shitting away their shillings. Some of them wandered through the door, right into enemy territory just like I did. I'm naked, rigged to explode, holding a cop's gun waiting to kill a guy, but I'm not a fucking animal. As for dealing with Benny and his comrades, well, let's just say I didn't have a whole lot of confidence in me. I figured my best bet was to VATS a headshot on each of them for assured damage, run away, and hope they perish in the ensuing chaos. I tried that one time before retreating in search of better gear. I found none, but I had me an idea. Legion are on the other side of those doors. We've already seen people pass through. The plan is foolproof. Piss off the chairman and lure them through the portal to Legion territory where they'll be chopped into bite-sized pieces. Alternatively, at least kill Benny and get the chip and make it to Legion land safe and sound. I refused to put on armor. I couldn't survive in that shooting gallery with no armor or stimpaks. The plan worked like a charm. The chairman followed me across the wasteland. The big man didn't need guns. I went for the knees, just like I said I would. It worked. I survived, and checked out a few of the other doors in the casino to see where they lead. One goes to the inside of a cabin. That's neat. Another goes to the inside of a different cabin. That's neat. One's locked, and the other goes back to everyone's favorite misty hell, the Sierra Madre Casino. A door there placed me in Big Empty, where conveniently Father Elijah's laser rifle was waiting to give me the upper hand against the chairman. After using one of my last remaining healing items, Benny and I engaged in the final battle to decide the fate of the entire universe, and my game crashed. You're lucky I'm the one doing this. My iMac was purpose-built to handle this kind of workload. Your Nvidia just doesn't cut it anymore. They called it a GPU because it stinks. Unable to win that fight, I went back and forth between areas in quick succession to mess with their AI and prevent them from coming through the door. In the camp the tower guarded, I picked fights I could win by antagonizing Yangtze camp survivors, then hiding behind a couple picnic tables where they couldn't attack me. In the aftermath, I looted the camp for supplies and quickly realized what was so special about this place. Why it was secluded in a dome in Nevada. They were keeping my dress here. I wasn't ready to wear it. I had to eliminate Benny first. Every time I failed, I emerged from the darkness ready to try again. He f***ed up. His hand slipped off the gun. I had my moment. I struck that motherfucker dead, grabbed the chip, evaded the onslaught of the chairman, and escaped to Cottonwood Cove, where I jumped up to the roof, out of anyone's line of sight, enabled the free cam, and watched as a war broke out amongst the factions. It never broke out. The chairman lost interest in finding me. I swam a safe distance away, disengaged my jaw, and gulped water until the sky turned a funny shade of pink. The age-old questions here again. How the effing f*** do I get to the main story? According to the quest log and the map, I can get to Benny's room by following this exact path. Naturally, I jumped right to the end, near the final waypoint in Novak. Met Boone, who has nowhere to go during the night, so he just stands there waiting for his next shift. Got some vibes that I couldn't quite place in this town. I didn't like that one bit. Thank God I'm easily distracted. I may not have any conceivable way to make any more progress in the main story, but I do have this. All I could do was wander around, opening any door I could find, hoping for Mr. House's penthouse, a level in the Brotherhood's bunker, Benny's room, the El Dorado substation, the Legate's camp, or an assortment of others. A friend of Frank Horrigan's took a job at the secluded ranger station in Jacobstown Forest. Jacobstown is near Red Rock Canyon, in theory. It's close, but there are invisible walls, preventing those of us with good legs from reaching their full potential. I backtracked to Good Springs to take a trip through the art exhibit formerly known as Cazador Canyon. Robots blasted me from afar not long after I approached. The next time around, I took out one of their group members from a distance at random and retreated to the hills. I don't have the quest to meet the Red Rockers yet. I spoke to Regis anyway. The Khans are one of the factions you can satisfy with a single interaction. That's done, maybe. Next stop, Paul needs food, badly, and ammo, and a jumpsuit that didn't belong to a dead kid. More importantly, I need the locations I mentioned. Crimson Caravan offered up several doors to explore. I can't stress enough how thrilling and futile this challenge felt. All the necessary locations are out of reach. When I hit the Great Wall of Inevitability, my brain resorted to primal tactics. Get inside Hidden Valley. I know the door to the bunker won't go to the bunker. For the life of me and all these powder gangers, I couldn't think of a better idea. For all the hours I've put into New Vegas, I drew a complete blank at how to beat the game. It's okay, don't panic just yet. I've got my invisible hands back in the form of a slutty hologram outfit. Everything is gonna be okay. There's a giant alpha mother deathclaw lurking at Hidden Valley. Everything is not gonna be okay. I picked her babies off first. Hollow points pack the most punch, and overkill sends a message that you need a hearing aid. Switching to your sidearm is always faster than reloading. I hit that deathclaw with 15, 20, maybe 25 308 hollow points, and that sick had half its health left. I threw time bombs in its general direction. I singed its skin off with a laser gun. I discovered Hidden Valley and hightailed it out of there. My long-lost brother Tromp Lewis was sporting a fantastic smile. Snuffles disappointed us all. And on my way to 188 Trading Post to abduct a friend, I was ambushed by a powder ganger hit squad. I freaked, ran off into a cave. The garbanzos followed me directly into a blind deathclaw's den. It cried out in Morse code as it died. Sadly, I couldn't understand any of it. Upped my hat game. A mantis's claw fell into my arm. A dead body awarded me an alien blaster. A Nightkin set a new home run derby world record with Clifford's most prized possession. Of course, when I kill Clifford and take it, it turns into an advertisement. Veronica at 188 Trading Post was my next destination. This prospector had the audacity to be roaming the wasteland in her birthday suit. To teach her a lesson, I chopped her up. You wear clothes when you go outside. With 2 sleeping bags worth upwards of 4,400 caps each, I stocked up on ammo from Alexander below 188. Met an angel, took her wings for myself, gave her a mask in return, and returned to the hidden bunker, knowing I would not get inside. Unbeknownst to me, disaster was about to strike. A bug reared its ugly head, back from the dead to ruin everything. Both NPC and door name tags are broken. They don't show up. I have no way of knowing where a door goes until I go through it. Some of you might think this would improve the challenge. I felt it did more harm than good. I don't remember where anything is, and I wouldn't expect you to be able to remember it either. At the very least, I needed a way to know which doors I've already gone through. I don't have that anymore. Plus the NPCs. I can't tell who anyone is unless I talk to them or use VATS to scan them, or as a hideous third choice, open fire to turn them hostile and get their health bar to pop up. I've made no progress since Benny died? Let's correct that by going to NAFB. I'll have to meet certain factions to finish the story, and a handful of NPCs can be caught outside in the wilderness as a part of their existence loop. Meet Pearl as she's walking to her house, pass a 20 speech check, and the boomers are finished. Unsure of which cabin was hers, I climbed up to the roof and observed silently from above, waiting for Pearl to show herself. Her house is here. What's inside is anyone's guess, which means Pearl could be on the strip dancing in a fountain, losing her marbles as she becomes a lobotomite in the Great Khan's camp. There's no way to know where she is. Doors don't go where they're supposed to. NPCs are trained to open those doors and go through them regardless of where they lead. Pearl is a lost cause. The midget freak put the fear of God in me. A war against the boomers didn't feel like a winnable campaign. You know who loves war more than a 15-year-old on Discord? The Brotherhood of Steel. A door here leads to their bunker. Initiates couldn't be here otherwise. I began my search. Shack 1 is where Raoul's being locked up. Shack 2 is a second pathway to the chairman's pool room. I'd have been annoyed had it not been for the rotisserie-style saw-bladed power fist. Only those who escaped survived my massacre at the pool. Among the victims were NCR soldiers. They were among the survivors as well. Word spreads fast. The troopers on the dam attacked me for what I'd done to their brothers with arms. In return, I cut their king's head off with a blade and returned to my dusty roots in Goodsprings. Sunny Smiles agreed to meet me around the back of the saloon for shooting advice. She'll get there eventually. I picked the lock on the saloon door and entered a Brotherhood bunker. Couldn't say which one. Post-processing graphics enhancing software froze the tape, letting me inspect a window I made with my face when I attempted to clip through the door by quick-saving. I see crates. Lots of crates. My god, that's a lot of crates. Whether this is or isn't the correct bunker is tough to say. The Brotherhood have like 4 bunkers. One bunker's filled with debris. I saw through the door that there's crates in here, and the room I'm in is empty. Can't be in that bunker. Another bunker's an NCR Ranger hideout. It's not that one. Then there's the real bunker and maybe this one. I didn't check the map to see. Veronica's unwillingness to come to my aid for any reason in any video ensured Brotherhood hostility should I succeed in clipping through the door. Here's the twist. The door I need to go through to get to the real bunker is the door I came in through. See, that's the beauty of playing in the 4-dimensional funhouse. You lose track of basic common sense. You run into a crowded room with a sword, start avenging your wife, and predictably die. The bouncers will be so mad they disrespect your body. Yes, I'm still wearing the hologram outfit instead of armor. If I've told you twice, I've told you once. Fashion over function, always and forever. Why do you think I chose this character preset before I was born? I'm being efficient. Sooner or later, I showed up in Gamora's underbelly, eliminated Troik to upset the Omertas, a tunnel snake did a dance, and my quest to leave the casino began. Lord have mercy, yes he does, but don't believe the hype. It's not what it's cracked up to be. By virtue of the way grenades work, the gamblers joined Angel and the Omertas in hating me. Veronica served no purpose other than being a distraction. After one of the thugs dropped Annabelle on her barrel, I hoisted her up with my invisible hands and high-explosive missiled the living beings in the next room. A certain someone we won't talk about wasn't pleased with my actions in the casino. A cloud of darkness latched itself onto me and followed me until the end of my days, which in a shocking turn of events would come sooner rather than later. Knowing this, I was offered up a gift for both eyes. My left, the analytical side, a dancing skeleton. For all the righties out there, for all the people who lost the use of their hands in a farm accident, Todd, this one's for you, buddy. I left the twins to dance forever. The delicate balance between fact and fiction must be maintained at all times. I get the kids Murray the Mole Man mask though. Outside, my sense of sense started to malfunction. I couldn't see right. I tried to enter the Lucky 38. It led to an NCR outpost, and I waited the weather away. The dark is so drab and dreary, hard to make out what's going on in a "this video sucks, I can't see what he's doing" kind of way. I assume you complimented my bravery earlier like I suggested you do, so thank you. Those messages kept me going in my moment of despair. Several areas of New Vegas became virtually pitch black. Waiting changed the weather, but it wasn't bright enough. Speeding up time with a console command ran through a couple weather effects, yet the darkness remained. My legs barely remained intact, following a Powder Ganger Squadron assault squadron. I'm at full health, my legs are completely numb, rigged up by sticks and twine. Veronica's behind me operating me like a puppet. Possible flash warning now for about 10 seconds. I played God with the console one more time to quickly check a ton of weathers. All in the dark. Warning over. I'll give old Paul some credit for one thing. He figured out why the sneak meter gone and run away. I called the old boy back home. Novak wasn't safe from the shadow over the Mojave. The lonesome road wasn't safe. My Pip-Boy lights are on, the torches are lit, the fireplace is burning bright, and I can't see the end of my gun in the Great Khan hideout. A cat's eye provided temporary relief. It wore off, and the haze over the Mojave had stretched to every corner of the map. A location not outside in direct sunlight is shrouded in the deepest dark, impenetrable by Vault-Tec technology. Outside doesn't really get any better. Maybe it's bad luck. Maybe it's mods gone wrong. Maybe it's a random coincidence that I happened to get stuck with for this challenge. Something changed mid-game that was out of my hands. Can you beat Fallout New Vegas if every door is randomized? Sure, but I've been told to do a challenge for fun. This is what that looks like. Now let's all agree to never let me do it again.